All of us face morally difficult decisions. You can't live in this world and not find yourself in situations where it's hard to discern the right thing to do. For example, the use of fossil fuels is harming our planet, perhaps irrevocably. And so, do you go ahead and drive your gasoline-powered vehicle to work, and the grocery store, and to church? Or do you risk your life and limb riding a bike across town? Neither person running for office perhaps shares 100% of your values, and so do you sit this one out, or do you cast your vote for the lesser evil? Do you shop at the discount chain store where your dollar goes a long way, where you can actually afford the things that your family needs, even though you know that the store underpays its workers? Do you eat at the fast food restaurant that has the best chicken sandwiches, even though you disagree with some of its corporate values? Now, unless you think I'm getting too judgy, I'll admit I've done all of those things more than once, and I imagine that you have done some of them as well. In the gospel lesson appointed for today, Jesus is again at the temple, and has again made the religious leaders and political elites angry. And so they come up with a plan to get him once and for all. They present him with one of those moral dilemmas that the people faced. They ask Jesus, should we pay our taxes to the emperor or not? If Jesus says no, don't pay your taxes, he could be arrested for sedition. If he says yes, you need to be a good Roman subject and pay your taxes, then he might lose the support of his radical base. Either way, Jesus loses. The religious leaders wanted Jesus to take a partisan side and to direct his followers to either opt out of the system entirely or compromise their values by contributing to the status quo. But Jesus does not fall for their trap. Instead, he says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's, which I believe was an invitation to reevaluate the very legitimacy of Caesar's demands. An invitation to really think about how those demands had misshaped their communities. An invitation to imagine what the world might look like if we truly rendered to God what was God's. Every day, we are faced with multiple decisions to do the right thing. Sometimes the answer is easy. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes, no matter what decision you make, you're going to compromise one of your values. When that happens, remember this story of Jesus. And before you embrace a false dualism, reframe the question. How would this choice be different if we rendered unto God what is God's? And then do your best to render what's required. Amen.